did you uncover about your processes? Did anything in the reporting come as a surprise to you?
What we were measuring were the recorded calls. I think the biggest thing that was a shock to me when we first started using Car Wars was how many calls were not connected. One of the things that Car Wars measured that we weren't measuring at in the beginning was how many of these incoming sales calls didn't end up getting to a person who could answer the customer's question, therefore not connected. How many times we were sending the customer to voicemail, taking a message, leaving them on hold so long that they hung up, or disconnected, sending them to a dead extension. There are so many different things that were happening that I was just unaware of. So the initial reaction of, again, it's kind of like my eyes were open to, at the time, I think we were only making a real true connection with about half of our incoming sales calls. And so the idea was, oh my gosh, we're suddenly aware of another 50% of these opportunities. And if we can do well with them, we ought to sell twice as many cars. But the initial reaction was being shocked at, we were listening to the sales calls that were connected and grading those and coaching based on those. I was shocked to find out how many calls weren't ever connected. And so therefore, how many opportunities we were wasting through poor processes up front.
How did your Car Wars team help you identify your specific needs and tailor a solution to address them?
We really had the opportunity to get deeply involved with Car Wars to dial into where are we missing it, where are the opportunities that we could, make a small change that might have a big impact on our performance in the phones, in the results that we're receiving from the phones. And it's just been amazing through the years. We've grown a lot recently, but I would say we have quarterly meetings with all of our GMs, all of the partners that are running the stores around the state. And quite often, maybe even a couple times a year, I've got the people from Car Wars coming in, working with each of our GMs to make sure that each GM knows what's going on at their store, knows how to impact the results, make sure that they are placing a high priority on all of these things. But, it's not just, sending us the data and sending us the information. It's also making sure that we are being effective with the information and knowing how to achieve the results in our store to improve. I mean, the goal of all of this is to improve. We've never reached perfection. I've been at it long enough to know that we're never going to reach perfection. But working with Car Wars has been great through the years because of our long-term involvement in this idea of traffic management. We had things that were important to us that may not have been in the Car Wars system. Car Wars has things in their system that were, part of their grading and things that were important to them that were not important to us. So there was a lot of, both customization that they were willing to do for us to bend their system to match things that we wanted to see, that we wanted to grade, that we wanted to be part of the process. And at the same time, there have also been lots of situations where Car Wars has come to us and said, you don't think this is important, but we think it is, and here's why. And so in many cases, we have been improved by the feedback of Car Wars of, explaining to us why some metric is important when we weren't really placing much of an importance on it prior. Our level of collaboration together in terms of their willingness to work with us to make sure that the solution is providing the tools that we're looking for in the way we're looking to see it. The partnership with the Car Wars consultants and the people of Car Wars to work with us specifically to make sure that it is working for us in the way we want to see it has been phenomenal. It's been above and beyond what I can expect or would expect from most other vendors doing different things for car dealerships. And so it's really enabled us to design some custom solutions to get better at the process of handling the phones, partly because they're making the solution work for us and partly because they're teaching us how to be better.
How would you describe the level of communication and responsiveness from the Car Wars team?
Because of our working with and collaboration partnership with Car Wars through the years, we've developed lots of relationships throughout the organization. One of the things that we really enjoy in the way we work with Car Wars is the level of communication. I am comfortable calling anybody throughout the organization and asking for help or asking to solve a problem, and we receive that help. There's incredible communication and partnership with them just through the years of working with each other. I think it goes both ways. We often have them as part of our quarterly meetings with all the partners and GMs, and that level of relationship creates great communication in both directions. It has created a little bit of a unique relationship between client and vendor in that we're all working closely together.
What goals were set with your consultant and what progress has been made towards achieving them?
So when we first started working with Car Wars, my main goal was to automate the listening to calls and the coaching or grading of calls. I wanted to be able to eliminate the person that we had at each dealership whose job was to listen to every call and to do the manual grading of it all. That was the biggest deal to me. And so that's what I was focused on my time with them on. Here's what I want it to look like and here's what I want it to do. Car Wars was always great. Yes, that's what we do. We can do that. That's a piece of cake. Their big focus for us was on our connection rate. The big change for us was that we weren't concerned about the connection rate because we didn't know it was a problem. Being aware of that, suddenly it was like, wow, I think for our whole group, I think we were getting the customer with someone who could answer their questions about 58% of the time, which is terrible. It's just unbelievably bad. And so, they came to us and said, can everybody in the group agree that 70% is a reasonable number for a connection rate? Clearly, it's easy for everybody in the group to say yes. I'd say today, our group average among all 30 stores, our connection rate is like 73%. We've improved by somewhere around half. And I still think it's terrible. I still think that unbelievable that we have a customer reaching out to us wanting to do business with us. We can't get 100% of them or 98% of them connected with somebody that can help answer their questions. The ball don't lie. The numbers are what they are. We still have a long way to improve, but that was kind of the big thing that stood out when they first started measuring our calls and making a recommendation that would make a big difference for us. So, that's where we set the goals. There has been improvement for sure.
What has impressed you most about Car Wars? What feature do you find most helpful?
So one of the interesting things about my long-term relationship with Car Wars is I've been intimately working with them for so many years. I'm amazed by their development, their improvement, as they have changed so much through the years as technology and the industry has developed. They've been on what I would say the cutting edge of all of that. I think about the use of AI as an example. Early on, golly, a long time ago, we would have all of our sales consultants call in to their system and read a script until their AI, this is before AI was really a thing. We're talking a long time ago, 8-10 years ago. We would have the salespeople call in and read a script so that their computer could learn the voice of our salespeople so that the system could automatically place a call in with the right salesperson. Things like that. I mean, before AI was a thing, they had an AI solution for grading these phone calls and for placing them with the right person, making sure that the reporting was accurate. I think now about so many of our people, our customers, our dealerships are preferring to text on a phone rather than a voice call on the phone. It's a different way of letting their fingers do the walking. But we're doing so much more texting now. Our customers would prefer to text rather than have a voice call. But everything's right there in the text string. You're able to literally grade a text string the same way you could grade a live phone call. Car Wars is on the forefront of figuring out how to manage texting as a communication channel. There are lots of vendors out there who are offering texting. Even though they're offering texting as a solution, they're not paying attention to or grading what's happening in that thread or in that communication with the customer. And again, just like the initial part when we started listening to phone calls, when we started looking at what's actually happening on these text strings, it's a shocker. It's embarrassing as a business owner to see how we're handling that. And so, again, I'd say that, for Car Wars to be on the forefront of helping us manage, have a solution for that, have the data from that communication form, being able to grade it, being able to report on it, it's just a huge deal. I've been very impressed at how Car Wars is always looking for the next space that they need to be in. I've been very impressed with all the different technologies and solutions that they have come up with through working with all these big dealer groups like us, and the way they've been coming out with really great solutions that are just not available anywhere else in the market.
What would you say to someone considering Car Wars?
What I would say to anyone considering Car Wars is you're crazy if you're not measuring what's going on over your phone calls, over that system. What I would say is that a very significant portion of your opportunities at a car dealership are coming through a phone call. Somewhere around 20 to 25% of our opportunities come from a phone call. We close those opportunities at a really high rate. If you're not measuring that, if you're not grading that, if you don't know exactly how you are handling or what you are doing with those opportunities, then you're missing it. I'm not saying I'm perfect because I'm not, but we are way better today as a result of knowing what we're doing on our phone opportunities than before of just hoping and praying that our people are doing a good job. There are a lot of dealers out there who say, oh yeah, I do that. And they don't necessarily realize what the differences are. Recording phone calls is not the same as what Car Wars offers. There's so much more to it. To me, it's really the grading of the phone call, the coaching and the reporting that happens, at a store level, by department, by salesperson, by service advisor, by the individual who is responsible for talking to that customer, I can know exactly who's doing a great job and who is not, why they are not doing a good job, where they're missing it. Gives us the opportunity to coach them specifically on how they can improve, or taking them off the phones, not allowing them to answer the phones. We do that as well. If all you're doing is recording calls, then you're missing the point. I don't think there is any other solution out there that does what Car Wars does. I think you're missing it. You have to be missing it if you're not using Car Wars.